Hey guys, how's everybody doing? This is going to be a follow-up video about what's going on in Ferguson. Um, I really don't know what to say, but yeah, I do have a lot of things to say, but um, there's just too many stories floating around about what happened during the incident. Like I said, like I told people, hey, look, wait till all the information comes out. From there, you can make your judgment call if it's, if you know was the shooting justifiable or not. And it seems that people don't want to listen. So, um, since people don't want to listen, might as well just tell you what I think because one or two people might believe me. The rest of you won't. But I read all the reports. Yes, a lot of the stuff is out there, especially the autopsy report. I sat down and I looked at it, broken down and everything, and I was like, okay. And then I read the report about the officer being injured on his eye. So that kind of added some more stuff to the equation of what might have happened. But this is just my thought of what I think happened. It's gonna be up to you all. Some of you might like it, some of you might not. Some of you might freak out. Some of you might be like, "Oh, you don't know anything." Well, you know what? I'm pretty good at breaking things down, and I'm pretty good at understanding things. With why all the facts are out there. I'm not gonna say, "Oh, this happened." No, I'm gonna say, "Look, I broke it down. This were the facts that were given to me, all the facts that I read. You add it to the equation of everything else that's going on, you'll get a probability. You're not gonna get 100% certainty, but you get a probability of the problem that's going on." So, some of you are wondering. They were talking about how Brown was shot. Um, Mark Brown, I guess that's his name. Doesn't matter. Um, I looked at the autopsy report, and like I said, I broke down a possibility, two possibilities of what could have happened. One of them is that, which is a little bit sketchy about what a lot of people are saying, especially eyewitnesses, which I kind of like. I don't agree with what's going on with the eyewitness reports. Is that yes, it's been confirmed by multiple accounts of different people that yeah, he did attack the police officer. We know that. We figured that out. Okay, that's part of the equation right there. You factored that in, and then you factor in the part where the autopsy comes in and talks about the bullet wounds. Well, there's two probabilities, and from here you can make your own judgment call or whatever. One probability is that, yeah, he had his hands up, saying, hey, don't shoot, and the officer shot him. That's one probability. The second probability is, let's see, he was shot with the right hand. Now you can see where he was hit. This is not a defensive, this is an offensive stance. That means a person can charge forward. See what I mean? If he had his hands up and he would have been shot in the different parts of the body, he would have just slumped down and maybe hit backwards or slumped down and hit sideways. No, but just like I said, that's one. I'm showing you both views. Then, if you look at it in a standing position, somebody ready to fight, he could have been charging very easily, and the police officer could have shot him. And then that's when he fell forward, and that's when he got hit in the cheek, in the face, and on top of the head. Why? Because he was going forward, trying to attack the officer. He got shot, he got hit, he went down to cover up. His head was right here, and part of his head. So he probably, when the officer was shooting, probably hit him, pow, pow. He was wounded, boom, hit him on top of the head. And that's what, well, he got shot 3 times in the head. So one of those 3 bullets could have easily just finished him off. But remember, you're looking at it 2 different perspectives. You're looking at it from this way, him getting shot, which is like I said, I have seen footage of people being shot during robberies. I have seen footage of people being shot in Afghanistan and Iraq. You can look up those videos. You can look up all this stuff, and from there you can easily break down part of the situation. So just like I said, I gave you guys two different perspectives. One kind of makes sense, the other one doesn't really make sense. The defensive one doesn't make sense because the way the wounds are, they come from somebody who was ready to fight. Now, I'm not saying that I agree with how the events happened and somebody had to lose their life, but you also have to look at it at a third perspective, and that's the one from the officer. Everything that I'm showing you is the perspective of being hit by the bullets. Now, the second thing is, the other perspective is, when the officer was injured, this came out later. Well, it came out later or came out before? I can't remember. I think they both came out around the same time. The second one was the officer was injured. Hold on, let me see the angle. I think it was his left eye, because let's see from on top. Yeah, it was. I think it was his left eye. They got injured. Now you got to remember, he had what they call an orbital fracture. From my understanding, the way orbital fractures work is part of the eye becomes dislodged slightly. Like literally, it's like if somebody breaks this bone right here, this whole section right here, your eyeball will literally shift. So it's a good chance when he got hit. You got to remember, when you're looking at something, you're looking at it this way. You're looking at it. Yeah, you're looking at it like literally in this perspective. Now imagine you got a left eye injury where part of your eye is slightly shifted. Instead of seeing everything parallel, he probably saw things this way. So it could have distorted what he saw. I'm not defending the police officer whatsoever. Just, oh, you'll calm down. No, it's just you got to remember, you got to look at it at different perspectives. That's another thing. He could have easily seen things a little bit different. I know because I had eye tests done to my eyes, and I found that I have some stuff wrong with my eyes. I mean, it doesn't affect my shooting or my job or anything like that, but I have something called eyelid syndrome, which my eyes don't make enough tears. And the problem is when my eyes get really dry, my left eye, actually it's weird because it's my left eye. My left eye will literally, I have to close my eye like this, and then when I open it, I see everything in double. Sometimes that's because I don't have enough tears in my eyes, so I have to use like teardrops and stuff like that. But I can still see, but sometimes, it hurts and it bothers when I kind of rub my eye. Once I finish rubbing my eye, everything just becomes double. Now, I know that's not the same thing as an orbital fracture of the eye, but that gives me a pretty good idea. Maybe that's what happened to the officer. Maybe the officer, the way he was seeing things, maybe he perceived it as something completely different. He could have accidentally actually shot Mark Brown. Not accidentally, but maybe his perspective of looking at things might have been different. Maybe since everything was kind of slightly blurry in one eye, it distorted his motion. So he probably could have had his hands up, and because of the distortion and everything, he could have easily thought that he was coming for him, and he used deadly force. Like I said, I'm not defending the police officer, but you have to look at all the different perspectives. Because if that's what happened, then technically, he was in fear for his life, so he had to open fire. But I mean, I'm trying to find the right words to say about this. Look at it this way. Because of the events that happened, him getting injured that way, could that have led to him using deadly force? Because of the actions that Mark Brown did, hit him in the face multiple times, fracturing his face, dislodging part of his eye. I mean, probably not a lot, but it's enough. You got to remember, people see things literally like in a square. So imagine that certain shift, either going up or down. What do you think your eye perspectives are going to be? Now, maybe it didn't affect his vision at all. And maybe he shot him because he was pissed. You got to remember, you got to look at it all sides. If you can't look at it all sides, break down the information, you don't know what really happened. And that's another thing that kind of makes me mad. They had all these witnesses, but nobody can give a perfect account of the actual shooting part. Somehow everybody remembers, oh, that he stole the stuff from the convenience store. Oh, everybody remembers him pulling him over. Everybody remembers shoving him in the cop car, hitting him. And then he had his hands up. That's where I'm having a problem, because just like I said, he could have been the way he landed, the way everything that he landed, it didn't look like somebody who was shot from the front, covering himself. Because if somebody shoots you, you're going to go back. He didn't land backwards. He landed forward. But it's very interesting that part of all the eyewitnesses, nobody can agree on what happened. We don't know. Until somebody actually has video footage. Remember, the police car has dash cam. That means they have video footage or audio of what happened. Why hasn't that been analyzed? Or it's probably got analyzed, but it probably not released. We don't know. It could be that, yeah, he did it on purpose. Or, yeah, he did it in self-defense. Now, you got to remember, everything that I'm telling you guys is because I broke it down and I said that I really thought about it. I knew about videos out there. I seen video footage. I seen autopsies from... I'm sorry, not seen autopsy, but I looked up other crime reports from different shootouts the cops had with people and stuff like that, looking at the dead bodies. You can even go to YouTube and look up some of these shootouts where you can actually see the person being hit and you can see how their body reacts being shot. I mean, it's crazy, but if you really look at it, you see the way people land, the way people hit the car, the way they land forward, the way they land backwards, the way they just drop straight down from being shot. We don't know. We don't really know. What matters is what happened at that moment when the cops started chasing him and he turned around and put his hands up. Did he really put his hands up because he was scared of being shot? Or he had his hands up because he was ready to fight? So that's the one part right there that matters right now. That's the one part of the equation that nobody can agree on. And even ballistically looking at it, yeah, it looks bad. I mean, if I was just like looking at it and go, damn, this guy got shot a whole bunch of times. But if you look at the wounds and everything, it tells you a whole completely different perspective of what's going on. But you also got to remember, this guy was 6'5", if I'm correct, over 300 pounds. Could his body landed differently? Could, the way he was shot and everything? Yeah, it could have. It could have happened. Just like I said, I've seen video footage of different, police shootouts. You can see all this stuff on YouTube. You can look up police reports. You can look up police reports. Also, people don't understand about the internet. All this stuff is public information. There's a lot of things out there, a lot of crimes that happen. You can look up the information. You can look up people's criminal records. You can look up people's history. You can look up, just like I said, crime reports. You can find a lot of crime reports. If you really want to look, you will find a lot. Trust me. I have a lot of times in my hands, and sometimes I look up things or I hear people talk about it, and I go and I open up, police reports. I'm like, oh, this is pretty interesting stuff. So I'm not an expert, but at least I have a perspective of looking at it in different ways. I love to analyze things. I love to break them down, how they work. So that's how my brain works. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I said when I looked at the police report and I looked at not the police report because it hasn't been released yet, I think. But I know that the autopsy, I was looking at it and I go, man, there's like different perspectives on here. There's different ways you can look at it. So remember, guys, just look at the photos, look at different things, look at different autopsies, and from there, break it down. You can be the judge of it. Right now, I really can't give a straight answer because the one part of the problem, the one part of the equation is that part where did he have his hands raised or was he ready to fight? That's the one thing that's going to determine the factor of what really happened. So, especially since the officer was already injured, with just like I said, with that fracture in his eye, that's also needs to be factor in of everything that happened. So, okay, guys. Well, that's my thought of what's going on between the police report, all this stuff. I'll make another video later on about the riots, but at least this gives you a pretty good idea of what I think, and that's why I haven't taken any sides because I really don't know that one part of the equation has not been answered, and it doesn't make sense to me. So, if somebody out there has more information or something like that, which I can add into the factor, then yay, go right ahead. I can remake another video about this. Plenty of time in my hand. All right, guys. God bless and be safe out there. Later.